What's up everyone, I'm Dan and thanks to Critical Hit PR and Acclaim for the review code for Ground Zero Hero on the Nintendo Switch systems. There is something immediately appealing about Ground Zero Hero with its bright, colourful visuals, upbeat funky soundtrack and wonderfully ridiculous sense of humour. This action roguelite feels like it has been pulled straight out of an episode of Rick and Morty. It takes the familiar survival game formula and throws in mutations, bullet hell combat and a healthy dose of chaos to create something that is familiar but still has its own personality. The basic premise is simple. You're dropped into a radioactive wasteland filled with mutated creatures and your objective is to destroy as many enemies as possible while becoming increasingly powerful. Rather than surviving for a set amount of time, Ground Zero Hero gives you a target of 9,999 enemies. Once you've reached that number, the final boss appears and defeating it completes the stage. It's a nice change from the traditional timer-based structure found in many survival games. As you fight, enemies drop resources that allow you to level up and acquire new mutations. These can range from straightforward stat increases to much more bizarre abilities, included a radiated eyeball and even explosive chicken eggs. The game clearly isn't taking itself too seriously, and that works wonderfully in its favour. Your character can even visually change as you acquire different mutations, making each run feel increasingly ridiculous. The mutation system is one of the game's biggest strengths, although I did find that the individual abilities don't always feel as impactful as I would have liked. Things become much more exciting when abilities go bonkers, triggering an enhanced version with much more dramatic effects. These moments can completely change the pace of a run, with explosions and temporary periods of near invincibility turning you into an unstoppable killing machine. There is also a day-night cycle that adds another interesting layer. During the day, you're dealing with constant waves of enemies, while night introduces tougher creatures such as vampires and werewolves, and the trade-off is that these enemies provide more experience. You can also find bunkers and sleep through the night to restore your health, giving you a choice between playing it safe or taking risks for additional rewards. If you do rest in a bunker, however, you will lose any drops that you have accumulated that day and didn't pick up. Exploration isn't just about running away from enemies either. Safes scattered around the map can be cracked to earn additional currency for upgrades, while other environmental events include mushrooms, cows, pressure plates and other bizarre interactions. There is plenty of personality here, although I would have liked to have seen even more events and surprises added to the maps. Unfortunately, the combat does have a few issues. The auto-aim can sometimes feel unreliable, particularly with certain weapons, as attacks will only fire in directions you're facing. With hundreds of enemies filling the screen, this can make some encounters unnecessarily frustrating. There is also a lot happening visually. While seeing the screen completely overwhelmed by enemies is part of the fun, there were moments where it became difficult to keep track of my character. Thankfully, the game generally gives you enough power to deal with the hordes, but the overall difficulty could use some adjustment, as some deaths feel cheap because the weapons you have equipped just aren't very good at taking out enemies. Then it becomes a game of chance and getting certain weapons from the start in order to have a good chance of making it through to the end. That said, Ground Zero Hero has plenty of potential. The combination of cartoon visuals, funky music, ridiculous mutations and chaotic combat gives it a strong identity. There are 80 plus upgrades, more than 60 enemy types, multiple biomes, challenges and an endless mode, so there is a lot of replayability offered here. For fans of survivor-like games and zany cartoons, Ground Zero Hero offers an enjoyable ride and I'd recommend it, especially as it's more of a budget-friendly title, but I do wish it was a bit more of a tighter experience. Ground Zero Hero is out now on the Nintendo eShop, priced at $7.79 in the UK and $9.99 in the US. Big thanks to you all for watching, hope you enjoyed the review, and until next time.